Hi there, students. To go back on something. Okay, this is to fail to keep a promise or to change a decision or an agreement. So, my parents promised to take me to Disneyland during the summer, but they went back on their promise. The circumstances changed and they went back on their promise. Very often we use this in the phrase to go back on your word. When you promise something and then you change that promise, you go back on your word. To go back on something, okay? So, to go back on something, to fail to do something that you promised to do or agreed to do, yeah? So very often, before the elections, the politicians promise all sorts of things to the electorate, and then they go back on their promise. So they don't do what they said they were going to do. So, to go back on something, to renege on something, renege, okay? So, go back on a promise, go back on something. So, if somebody promises you something, they should keep their word. They shouldn't go back on the agreement that they've made, okay? Maybe people get second thoughts and go back on things, yeah? Okay, so to go back on, to change one's tune, if you like, yeah? To sing a different tune even, okay? So, he promised to do this for me. He promised to come and pick me up tomorrow. He promised to help me tomorrow. But then he went back on his word. He went back on what he had promised to do. And he rang me and said he wasn't coming 10 minutes before he was supposed to arrive. To go back on, yeah? Maybe it's your prerogative to change your mind as well, but if you promise to do things, it's not good to go back on that promise or to go back on your word, okay? Notice, this is inseparable, this phrasal verb, to go back on something. That's because it has two particles, and when phrasal verbs have two particles, the object always goes after. Okay? So, to go back on something. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.